Hello everybody and welcome to JGod Gaming. Today's video I'm actually going to be breaking down two separate subscriber gameplay. You can see this guy just loaded in. Language is a little bit different, but that doesn't really matter. The fundamentals are good across all languages. Right here I can see that the player is going to be using the Thompson with grip, extended mags, and advanced rifling. Good class setup with armored, and they're actually using forage, so they probably go on a little bit longer streaks on a general basis. If at any point you do enjoy the video or any of the tips, remember to hit that like button. I do have a goal of 200 likes for all of these subscriber breakdown videos, so if you can help me reach that goal, I'd be very appreciative of that. Also, if you're brand new to the channel, I typically do Call of Duty news, in-game updates, best class setup, videos on tips for how to improve, as well as these subscriber breakdowns that you're looking at today. So if any of that's interesting to you, make sure you subscribe with those notifications on. So let's go ahead and get into the breakdown. In this first gunfight, you can see he snaps on the target pretty quickly, and he even kind of does a jump to the left, so he's kind of getting a little bit of the advanced movement in there, because a lot of times you can make yourself a little bit harder target to hit. He does end up getting gunned in the back by this shotgunner, but not really much he could have done in that scenario, just because based off the map positioning, there were no signs that someone would be coming through that doorway that the guy actually came through. Just a heads up, this video actually contains two subscriber breakdowns. The second one will be for a hardcore match, and I'll kind of break down why I don't typically do those hardcore ones in that part of the video. You can see right here, he does a little jump shot down to a drop shot, ends up firing the weapon a lot, and you can see he kind of jumps in a lot of his gunfights, which isn't a bad thing by any means, but the really travesty in this particular scenario is that he engaged more gunfights being low health. So as you rewatch this, you're going to see he has two hit markers on the screen the entire time. That's what ends up leading to his death. He's in a bad scenario. He ends up getting shotgun. He might have been one shot by that shotgun anyways, but there's no way to tell for certain because obviously he wasn't at full health. So in that scenario, he really only had two options. He could have waited back and made sure he came to full health, or he could have actually just ran through it, low health and all, and just said go for it. But at the end of the day, either scenario, obviously the hang back method would probably saved his life, allowed him to chain his streaks just a little bit further. And I know that's something a lot of times people struggle with, just because it's so much more fun to get those feeds. But obviously if you die on a regular because you're trying to go for those feeds, it kind of offsets and you're not really improving overall. Based off what I'm seeing so far, this player clearly likes to play fast, which is good. It's not a bad thing to play fast, but be aware that you're just going to have unnecessary deaths because you're going to end up in positions where maybe you shouldn't have probably been. A general recommendation I would recommend for changing up the class is dropping forage for ordnance. The only reason you ever need forage is if you regularly go on 12 to 15 streaks. And obviously depending on the weapon that will vary slightly, but that's typically where you run out of ammo if you're going on a streak. In this entire video, he never goes on a 12 to 15 streak. So forage is completely wasted in this scenario. Obviously, it's nice to have over 300 ammo. And obviously, in this particular gameplay, it didn't help them survive longer and it didn't prevent any deaths. And not that ordnance will allow you to prevent deaths, but it will definitely allow you to get more kills because that map awareness with the recon goes a long way. You being able to get your streaks allows you to get more kills. And sometimes even that map awareness maybe can prevent a few deaths. So at the end of the day, that's what I'd recommend for this class setup. Obviously engaging there, make sure you get to full health. You can see he's at 3 little ticks there. He does get to full health. He does have armor, so he can take a little bit of a nade. Right here, he actually makes a really nice push. He wants to close that distance because with an SMG, you're going to win more gunfights at those closer ranges. And he ends up absolutely melting both those guys. He is low health right now, so he's got to be very cautious with where people are. And right here, he makes the decision to push back towards his spawn, get an engagement here, and he's getting shot in the back. And he almost doesn't even recognize that that guy's there. He focuses on the guy in the mid. But you can see that the guy ends up shooting him in the back, exactly where he was. He just needed to push through their spawn, gain that map control. His teammate took care of that first guy, so he didn't really have that much to worry about. This next clip, we're going to actually watch through a couple times, and I can tell you that 100% you're probably going to die in this scenario. We'll rewatch it a few times. And look at the minimap. Definitely look at the minimap. See how many enemies are located and where they're at in all the different directions. Making this push is probably one of the worst pushes you can make. And that's just from reading the minimap. And that goes probably back to this player playing aggressively. They just pushed right up to mid. And maybe he should have stayed to a certain side of the map. Make sure they get map control. There's a lot of variables to consider, but overall that position just was not a good one to take. We're going to go ahead and rewatch this scenario as well because he had the perfect flanking opportunity but didn't take advantage of it. So go ahead and look at right here. He could have easily came behind those two guys, probably got a double kill, and his teammate would have been better suited to attack those guys in the main building. So I want to point out that this player is obviously a decent player. Based off what I'm seeing here, they're a pretty decent player, but their consistency and choices at times aren't as good. Their gun skill seems to be pretty solid. They jump shot, they go ahead and drop shot, Their accuracy is pretty good. Their sensitivity seems about right. So overall, what I'd recommend them doing is changing up their class just a little bit so they can get those recon cycling a little bit faster, especially in a kill confirmed or a TDM mode. And then that'll allow them to get a little bit more map awareness, and then they can focus on reading that minimap and positioning. Because if they're positioned in better spots, they will win more gunfights. And overall, their average deaths will come down. As you can see right here, good positioning. The guy doesn't even know he's there. It comes up, shoots him up. So, I mean, overall, I mean, he could snap on a target, demolish people. But that's the main tip I want to focus on. Maybe changing the class a little bit, and that should increase your consistency in gameplay, which will allow you to cycle through more streaks. So hopefully you like the breakdown of this first gameplay so far. We are going to transition to the second one, but if you are enjoying the video, remember to hit that like button. I do have a goal of 200, so if we can get there, like I said, I'd be very appreciative. And if you are brand new to the channel, make sure you subscribe with those notifications on for that future content. So let's go ahead and get into the second breakdown. So as you can see, it's a hardcore team deathmatch on Arden Forest, and this player absolutely goes off in hardcore, and you'll notice how limited my feedback is in hardcore modes. The class setup doesn't even almost even matter in hardcore. Obviously, there's certain choices you can make over other ones. I mean, there are some ones that are better than others. I'm not going to say that there aren't. But a lot of hardcore ends up coming down to you should have just reacted faster. You should have played slower. And overall, skill does matter to a certain extent. But at the end of the day, it has a compressed skill gap. Because even the worst player can just one bullet you, camping in a corner, and you got to be prepared for that. Like I said in the beginning of this particular breakdown, is that it comes down to a lot of reaction time. You're going to see it gets absolutely melted right here, and all I can really tell him is you should have reacted faster. There's not really much I could say in that scenario, and unfortunately reacting faster is not a skill you can learn. Obviously you can improve your reflexes slightly, you can maintain your reflex slightly, but in general there's a curve that says as you age your reflexes will diminish. So as you age and you're 30, 40, 50 years old, your reaction time is going to be a lot slower. Hardcore is going to not be your thing because you're going to get demolished by a 12-year-old kid who has lightning quick reflexes that have not diminished. You can see right here, he ends up having a better shot than that guy. Was he better than that guy? I don't know. He just one bulleted him basically. Two shot, obviously, because it's the PPSH. But he's over here reacting faster than these guys, running through spawn, getting double kills. Doesn't even need to be accurate. He can miss tons of shots. As long as he's more accurate than other people, he ends up winning those gunfights. And they're not really gunfights in my opinion. It's you shoot me, I shoot you, whoever shoots first, that's who's going to win. And that ends up being a compression of the skill gap because it comes down to reaction time, which in my opinion is not a skill, that's a trait. In this particular case too, this person's not even running a recon plane. They do get their streaks, but they never call on a recon plane. They get paratroopers. You're going to see them get paratroopers. It absolutely goes off. Firebombing run. They have these high streaks, so they probably play really good on hardcore all the time. And then you have amazing reflexes, as you can see. They can snap on a target, get some easy feeds. So as far as feedback goes, there's not much I can really tell him other than to play slower or react faster. You can clearly see in the feed that some guy has an LMG posted up, camping, killing his entire team. He does get his paratroopers, delays a little bit on calling them in, but there's not really much I can give feedback here. He ends up getting a gunfight there. He missed the first shot, the other guy hit it. All I can tell him is be more accurate. That's really all I can do, because without map awareness, there's no way he could have known that the guy was there. And there's nothing really I could have said to, hey, you should have just been a little bit faster than that guy. You had the first shot, you just missed it. You know, there's not really much. And that's why I don't really enjoy breaking down the hardcore gameplay. So just being honest with you, this will probably be my first and last episode that includes hardcore gameplay. I did want to throw it out there so I can express my point of view. Obviously, there's a certain niche in the community that just loves hardcore because they like being able to shoot person in one shot. Because maybe the connectivity is not good and they get like 1,000 hit markers. I can understand that perspective. But in general, if you have decent connection, 3-bar connection, you should be playing core and working on how to get better in core. At the end of the day, that's what I would recommend. But obviously, to each their own. And that's going to go ahead and wrap up the video for today. So if you did enjoy at any point or liked any of the tips, remember to hit that like button. Again, a goal of 200. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe with those notifications on. We'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you for watching. And as always, have a great day.